Beautiful. I think, yes, perfect. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us again for a new session with our inspiring entrepreneurs from Zafree. I'm here with Bethlehem Dejene, Betty, and Bethlehem Fikri. So BTF, and we're very, very happy at Melanin Capital to have again Betty on the two Bettys on our TV shows, and we are happy to also discuss more about Zafree and everything about what is happening around the crowdfunding campaign and your next steps. But we've been hearing a lot about your company and how you managed to actually turn agricultural waste into paper, and how you managed to fight against the deforestation in the paper industry in Ethiopia. But today we want to discuss more about you both and what is your journey and how did you come to create these great ideas, and what obstacles or successes you've had through this endeavor. So let me ask you first, Betty D, about your background and what basically you did before Zafree. What did you study? What was your career? What were your dreams before even Zafree started?
All right, thank you, Melanie. Okay, I mean it's always good to talk about your past. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Well, I am based in Ethiopia, and of course, my name is Bethlehem Dejene, founder and CEO of Zafree Papers. So going back to my childhood, the way I grew up was mostly we go to school, home. That's the kind of environment I grew up in. So I was not much exposed to the rest of the world, I can say. So all I knew was my parents, my school, and then the road from my home to my school, basically. So I was more exposed when I joined university. So I got to the Addis Ababa University, which was still in our capital city. So I still did not get the chance to go out of Addis, the capital city. All I knew was just the capital city, basically. So yeah, after I joined university, I was actually more exposed to different kinds of experiences. So like when you join, everybody from all over Ethiopia comes to the same university. So it's like different people. So in my high school, I was exposed to like people more of like me. So, I knew what I was dealing with. But joining university, it was completely different because it's a completely different environment. So people come from different culture, different experience, different lifestyles. So like I had to learn how to actually communicate, live with others. So yeah, it was actually a very good experience. And the moment I knew that I didn't know anything about, I can say the entire Ethiopia, I
Yeah.
decided to expose myself. So I just wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I decided to join different clubs, meet new people, understand other people's experience, how they lived, and their culture and different things. So like in my freshman, I was pretty much involved in so many clubs. Like I was super busy as a freshman student. Because like I was trying to see everything, like because I thought I missed out a lot. I was just trying everything literally. So yeah, and that's how I think my entrepreneurship journey started as well.
Beautiful. Yeah. So you were an entrepreneur actually from a while back. Very, very impressive. And what about you, Betty Fikri? How was it for you growing up? Where did you study? And did you start working just after studying as well? Like, how was your journey?
Okay, thank you, Milani. So I was I was born in raised in Addis, uh, uh, here in Addis, and I used to my education was like I grew up like in different food, like 7, 8 schools. I have been learning in different schools. Like when I was in back in elementary, I can't actually remember the numbers, but I think it's more than 8 schools, I guess. I was into 8 schools when I was in.
Wow, that's a lot of different schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it kept going. Also, when I was in high school, I still we didn't settle. I mean, we were not living like um at one place, so I have to go like from one part of the Addis to another. So I don't have even like a permanent friend in my childhood. And
Mm,
yeah, so when I grew up, like I love fashion designing, I love makeup. So I remember like making my clothes, doing different styles on my clothes, doing these things for my sister and my friends. I mean, the friends that are available in my surrounding. So I grew up like this, and uh, the same as Betty, my family were strict, more religious, so I was not able to expose to different kinds of networks. So it's just from home to school.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So basically, I can say the only place uh, I was involved was at church. So I'm more like I grew up like more spiritually. So this is how my childhood was. And when it comes to my entrepreneurship life, I mean, since childhood, as I told you, I love fashion design
Mm,
and things. So yeah, uh, so I started my small business by combining Ethiopian traditional clothes with the modern one.
wow.
The- yeah, I still do that and I love it. And I love setting up small businesses whenever I'm in summer, most of the time.
Mm,
Summertime was like, it's a bit longer, so uh, I spend my summertime most of the time like setting up small businesses. Like it's funny actually when I think about it. Like when I think back,
mm.
I used to sell like it's funny movies. I used to sell movies for my friends. Like
Oh,
I don't.
really?
Yeah, yeah, and I sell it to them. And yeah, I do that. A lot of things actually. And when I joined the university, it was in Bahar Dar. Uh, it's far from Addis. Actually, I needed it because I want to experience independent life. As I told you, I don't have friends, permanent friends, and I'm not exposed to the external world. So I think I really want to be like um, a free bird. So
Yeah.
yeah, so after I joined university, um I have quite like uh, I can say it was uh, my best life experience because I mean I was independent, I was all my own, and I was free to do whatever I want. Uh, but at the same time, I was uh, strict, and I
Mm,
back then. I mean, I feel it was like I'm with my family. So, I mean, I love my life back then. I was among a clever student there, and I scored the second highest result from my department, female
wow.
students. So yeah, and I was also the best girl from my department. They give this title like Queen of the Year, Queen of the Department, I guess. Yeah,
I see, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it was fun. I'm not the person that go out for a night, or I'm not the person like who exposed herself to everything. I'm more like, mm,
Introvert.
yeah, reserved. Yeah, so that's how it went. But uh, my heart is always like doing business, creating something for the environment, for the society, and to be the one who cares about the environment. So I think that's what led me to work on Zafree.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I can see that you have both this entrepreneurial spirit, and it's like, yeah, like two great minds that came together, and from having this close, let's say, Ethiopian perspective, you came to even think about disrupting an entire world industry and completely changing this industry for the better and more ecologically. Can you tell me more, Bethlehem, Dejene, like how did it come to you, this idea of like using waste, agricultural waste, to make paper? Like this is quite crazy. Like there's not something you just wake up one day and you say, you know what, I'm going to produce paper like that. So how did it come to you?
Okay, long story, but I'll try to keep it very short. Okay, so how it started was, as I mentioned earlier, so it was my first time being exposed to the world. So my mom took me to this fruit and vegetable market that is based in Addis. It's like one of the biggest fruit and vegetable market in Ethiopia. So like I've never been there, but I've heard of the name. So Atkil Tara means a place for fruits and vegetables, basically, when you turn it into
Oh, wow.
pounds. Like, the imagination I had was something colorful, clean, beautiful, refreshing, and coming from a very refreshing environment. Like our house is filled with trees, plants, green stuff. So like that was what I had in my mind, and it was completely different. When I It was completely different, I can tell you. So it really smelled bad. It was so dirty, like it was not colorful at all. It was the opposite of what I was expecting. So, like at the moment, I just decided to do something with that West. Like, I was like, why are people not taking care of this? So, I just completely
Mm,
decided because it's just cleaning or proper management of West,
yeah,
basically. I was confused of why people were being so reckless and also not caring about what their environment looked, especially for,
yeah.
the vegetable market. So I just simply decided to work on waste management. So after that, I thought it was going to be simple. Little did I know, it was never simple. So I just simply decided to work on waste management in general. So the entire waste management, like waste management of like literally all wastes, whether it's liquid, solid, fruits, waste, or whatever waste it is. I decided to work on waste management, but which was very over ambitious for me at the time
Yeah.
because I did not have anything. Like I did not have enough resource, no finance, no expertise, nothing, zero. So that was a bit over ambitious. But what I got from that experience is that now my focus was on waste management, and I started doing my research and knowing more about the entire waste management ecosystem. So when I knew I was not able to actually, manage all wastes, I decided to start with one, which was plastic, because it was more interesting for me. So I decided to do plastic recycling. And before I even got very far with that project, you know how like when school ends at home, there's a pile of paper at home where you just waste or burn or I don't know, just keep in some of your store, basically.
Yeah.
So as we were cleaning, by end of school, we were cleaning the house with my brother, and there was a pile of paper at my house, and it was going to be wasted, and we were not going to use it. So my mom was telling us to just dispose it somewhere. So I was like, why am I not starting from my own house? I was there trying to collect plastic out there, which was a bit challenging for me because, as I said, I still don't know where to start. I'm just starting from emotional based decisions. So I just decided to start with paper and started experimenting with the paper at home. Just at home using like home equipment. I started doing my research thanks to Google. A lot of informations were out there. So yeah, I started experimenting, and that's how Zafree was born actually. So when we were doing the West paper recycling, we figured that the quality was compromised.
Mm.
To make the quality better, actually, West paper recyclers in Ethiopia, big factories, they import wood pulp to actually make the quality.
Um,
So I was recommended that I use that wood-based pulp, which was not also eco-friendly. So I just figured that the entire ecosystem was not right. So I started looking for other alternatives, which we came up with using the agriculture waste. So that's how Zafree was born. So it was like a very long process, long learning process, and a lot of pivots. But yeah, now we're here with Zafree.
my God, how exciting. So you really started from your home. That is absolutely insane and humbling, honestly. Very impressive. And how basically, for you, Betty Fikri, like, how did you meet Bethlehem? Like, how did you, because I always say, like, finding a co-founder is like getting married. Like, it is literally a marriage. You will
Yeah.
go through hell together, through successes together. You will be tired together, so very, very close to bursting at the same time. So you really need to be comfortable with your co-founder and trust that co-founder from A to Z. Like, how was this journey for you, Betty Fikri? And then I would ask you as well, Betty D.
Okay, so Betty and I first meet at African Union on youth meeting. It was Young African. I don't remember the title actually, but it was a policymakers meeting. Um, Back then, as I told you, I like fashion designing. So side by side, I was selling my designs. So we meet there. Betty was, I guess, she was impressed by uh, my idea, and we introduce ourselves, and uh, we have actually time to talk. And I don't actually, I remember what we talked back then, but the only thing I remember is that we clicked and we liked each other. And I feel like she's like a spice. She, while she speak in front of all of us, she was confident. I love the way she speaks. I love the way she expresses herself and everything about her. And I was impressed at that time. But in between, we didn't get the chance to meet again. So after a while, uh, Betty came up with Zafree idea, and she called me, and we met. Then she told me about Zafree. I was so impressed. I loved the idea. I mean, she was so energetic, and I feel like I was also sharing that energy at that time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and um, at Blue Moon, the incubation center, we were there. Like we took different kinds of trainings there, and we meet like different. We made different connections. We made different kinds of people there, and we continue like doing on Zafree, and now we're here.
That is a beautiful story. So it was a crush for you also, Betty D, when you met Betty Fikre in the African Union at that time. Like it's also like yeah, it's very difficult to find your co-founder. Like what made you feel like that comfortable that you thought, okay, let's build a business together?
Yeah, I mean, like as you said, Melanie, you're so right. It's like a marriage. Partnership is like literally a marriage, and so when I started, I started in partnership. I mean, I started alone, but then I had a partner, which was like I can say, I can call it like a toxic relationship. My first partnership was like literally a toxic relationship, and I have learned a lot from that partnership. So I was almost to the point where like, why do I need partners? Because I was doing everything on my own. But then when I joined Blue Moon, I saw the value of partnership and having co-founders. Like I understood the actual value of co-founders, except you need to have the right partner. And as Betty said, we met at African Union, and like I was impressed on my first impression was very good about Betty. Like, I didn't have ideas about business back then. Like I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do about business, honestly speaking. And this girl, she was killing it. Like she used to design her own clothes, and she was like, it was just a simple, forum that we were representing young people in front of policymakers, and we were just there to enjoy the event, not do business. And she was doing her business while, representing African youth. Like she came dressed with her
Wow.
own clothes, and like she brought her stuff, she was selling it to delegates that were there, and I was really impressed. So I think since I had the entrepreneurship inside me, I was really impressed by what she was doing. So we were close starting from then, except in the middle life happened and there was a bit of disconnect. But I always had in her, I always had her in my mind. So when I was searching for co-founders, I literally interviewed like more than 20 co-founders, potential co-founders. And I even had like two co-founders that actually joined my team, but
Oh wow.
they never stayed like for, I don't know, I think less than a month, 2 weeks. I don't know. They
Wow.
take the pressure. So like they left and I really didn't care. And then I remembered Beatty was there. So I didn't know if she would be interested, but I knew she had the entrepreneurship, mindset in her. So I contacted her. It didn't take us a day, not a day, it didn't take us hours for her to agree to be part of Zafree.
Beautiful.
Understood it. She felt it. I felt the passion she had for the business. Like she got the business, and I never told her what to do. She was there as a founder starting from day one, literally. So I was like so grateful for having her in the team, and I'm still grateful for having her. As you said, like it's not just about sharing the good things with your partner. It's
Mm,
literally a marriage, so you also share all the bad things, all the burden, all the stress, literally. So like you go down together, you go up together. It's
exactly.
the marriage. So basically, yeah, like that was how Beatty ended up being, I can say, my husband or my wife. I don't know what to call it.
That is beautiful.
That's how we ended up in a relationship, I can say.
Oh, that is amazing. I can feel the pain that finding a co-founder and having toxic relationships, and like honestly I'm very grateful also for my co-founder at Melanin Capital. Like before I was like you, Betty, I was working in a lot of clubs and universities. I also had this entrepreneur passion in me, but when you don't have a strong co-founder by your side, like it's very difficult to lift all this weight by yourself. So yeah, that's really inspiring to hear both of your stories. And just to come back also to this idea that you had, Betty, you did you have a manufacturing background, either you and or Betty Fikri, like that really helped you to think about the whole process, or did you learn as you were developing the project and the product?
Does that question goes for me?
Yeah, that's actually that's a good thing of having two Betty. You can start Betty D, and then I'll ask also Betty F.
Okay. So I mean, as I mentioned, I had zero experience, zero knowledge about whatever I was doing, whatever I decided to do. So it was a learning process for me. So as I like the moment I knew it was going to be a manufacturing plant, I started focusing on learning more things about manufacturing. So I started circling myself with people in the manufacturing industry, people, a different sector, but that are already involved in the manufacturing sector. So, I started spending more time with these guys, which helped me learn more about this industry. So we joined this training that is given by the government, which was Entrepreneurship Development Center, and actually Betty took that before me, and it was also recommended by her initially. So I took that training by then, and I met wonderful people who are involved in manufacturing. So from that day on, we've been working in, setting up different manufacturing plants like Soaks factory, textile industry. Yeah, but I mean, it was never successful. One of the factories successful, except I don't have ownership in it now. But yeah, I end up not having ownership because I was so much focused on Zafree. So yeah, but like we were able to have that Soaks factory. Now it's up and running, and also a plastic factory. Like yeah, they make plastics. So basically, like like I had to learn through the process and surround myself with people who are involved in manufacturing, because that's the best way to learn, I guess. You just,
Definitely.
instead of like learning it online, or of course that also helps, and also working in a manufacturing factory also works, but surrounding yourself with that same environment, everything you talk about will be manufacturing, how you're
Yeah.
going to, like, it's the best way to learn. So that's what I did, and that's how I end up in the manufacturing sector.
That's beautiful. Now, there is nothing better than actually doing something to learn and like surrounding yourself with experienced people. So I totally hear that. And for you, Betty, like Betty F, you've been doing your own clothes, right? So you had also maybe this kind of mindset. Like I'm always thinking of my co-founder here as an engineer. He has this mindset also of like splitting everything into sequences and then be able to scale it up. Like I guess for you that's also was it like a bit natural, or like how did it go for your experience into this manufacturing world?
Yeah, so I don't know if I can call it like experience, but uh, after right after I graduated, I joined a company. Uh, it's more of traditional company. They make textile traditionally. So I used to be. I don't know why they assigned me there, but I mean it's not even connected with my field of study. I studied software engineering, but since I love fashion and I want to be like close with textile, I joined that company. And I mean, I'm not the one who is knitting or, who is doing the real job, but I used to give them some designs while they are manufacturing the textile thing. So I think that give me inspiration, because I feel like everything can be done, because like from that textile comes from uh, something that doesn't seem I was I keep asking them, really, can you do this out of these traits? I mean, uh, it seems impossible, but I saw that they can change through manufacturing process. They can change just a raw trade into textile, into something
Mm.
wearable. So I think
I think I've lost Betty. Or can you hear her, Betty? D?
Not really. Yeah.
So I think we lost her, but I think that's what I will definitely get from this conversation from you both. Like it's like especially in Europe, like I grew up in France where everyone is very traditional and you have to go through a certain path because before you cannot act. Like it's such an inspiring message that you have that saying, you want to have an impact and you want to change, so you're just acting instead of also just wait for it. And this I really enjoy from both of you, this mindset. And one thing I wanted to ask you is I mean, it's in the manufacturing world, at least from where I grew up, like this is really a man dominated world. So I guess it must have been very challenging for both of you to go through that sector. Can you tell us maybe BTD, like what were your biggest challenges, and how difficult was it to maybe get your authority into that sector?
Okay, good question. And while Beatty was talking, I also remembered that I had a candle manufacturing small factory, not a big one.
Oh,
I completely forgot. I just remembered.
for that.
And in that, I had like the experience of doing the entire thing, like from manufacturing to sales,
impressive.
raw material, like literally everything. I mean, it was a very small business, but I actually learned a lot from that small business because I got to experience like the entire process. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a male-dominated industry, and until very recently, I used to say, look, growing up, I told you, I am the firstborn in the family, so
Oh,
I had like growing up, I was never told just because I am a woman or, like I can't achieve or whatever. As long as I believe in it and want to do it, I can make it. That's how I grew up. That's what I believed. So even I started to understand that there was an actual challenge when I joined university. Literally, like that's
oh,
when I actually figured like it was a really huge problem in the entire world,
yeah,
literally, because I actually never saw the difference. So, and I can say until very, very, very recently, I have never really faced because like what I believe is, when you say as a woman I am not being given equal opportunity, it's a mindset for me. So if I believe that, yes, of course nobody's giving me that equal opportunity. But if I believe that opportunity exists for everybody and I go, to take that opportunity, then it's up to me. It's a mindset. That's what I believe usually.
mm,
Yeah,
And
agree. I agree.
actually, of course, there are some things that comes just because you're a female, but in general, that's I choose to believe like that, and I always do believe like that. But you are definitely right. It's a really male-dominated industry, especially currently. You need to understand how they communicate. It's different. Like the way women do business and the way men do business is completely different. Even
yeah,
the fact that you have to change the way you dress just to bring that corporate look. You have to dress somehow manly, except
yeah.
you look feminine with your earrings and stuff. But you're still gonna get dressed as a male. Get it? So like that point hit me like few days ago. Like I don't necessarily have to talk this scenario, but I faced this challenge just because I was a woman, and I was so shocked because I never thought I would be facing that challenge personally. So I was like, wow. And then for you to be able to lead in that male dominated industry, you have to look like a male, you have to dress like a male, which is like not right. I want to dress my own dress, like my feminine dress, and still make the difference. You know, like that's the kind of mentality I had. But
I fully
apparently,
agree.
the way you talk should change, like your tone should, like everything should change into, you know, something male looking personality. So it was like a big blow. Like I was so amazed by what happened, and in fact, the fact that I figured that point was like a huge thing for me, because it's definitely going to be something I'm going to be working on. Probably
Mm,
no, but I'm definitely gonna work on changing this mindset. Like it needs to change. Like it starts from us. We need to show or prove that, you know, whoever I am, what matters is what I am presenting, my idea. Like, am I capable of doing it? My skills, whatever it is. Like there are other measurements, not your gender, basically. So I want to make sure that I put this message out properly, not now, but definitely I like that was part of my list. The moment I realized this, it was part of my list. So it's definitely challenging. But like, you know, all the environments I've been to are like male dominated. I am the youngest person because the industry we're in is not
yes.
really for exactly. Like we say we're startups, but we're not treated like startups. Like in Deborah in our site, you know, we're playing games with, you know, investors. Literally, we're treated like investors in Deborah because there is no, you know, comfortable ecosystem for the startups. So like we're acting like investors. So many things. Like you have to like you're not there, but you have to act like you're there. You have to play the part somehow. So it's you know, it's fun at the same time, but sometimes it gets a bit draining because there's a lot you want to do, and you just be, you know, drugged only in that scenario, just making it work when you can, you know, do more stuff, use your time, use your energy for something else. So that part disappoints me, but at the same time, it's a fun challenge, I can say. So like whenever a challenge comes, we say, "Ooh, okay, what's gonna be the solution?" Because the bigger the challenge, the bigger the solution. So it's basically a fun activity for us. But yeah, I mean, there is a big challenge. Like unless you play the part, which I don't agree with, there's definitely a challenge. But for now, since we have to move very fast, we're gonna play the part. But we're definitely gonna change this.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because like this is definitely very, very important. And I think like, you know, I agree with you on the mindset, but it's also seeing entrepreneurs like you and like Betty Fikre that we can actually also as women see that this is possible. If you never have the representation, or at least like have the vision that there are women that are head of banks, head of factories, that in politics and everything, like you by default believe that this is not possible, and this is ingrained in your mindset, and you only see women in certain roles, and then you censor yourself at the end of the day. So just seeing like what you and Betty are doing as two co-founders in the manufacturing sector, like I think this inspires like a lot of other future women entrepreneurs, and inspires me, like, and I can definitely relate being the youngest and the only woman in the room. I don't know if Betty Fikri, can you hear me properly? No, I don't think so. So maybe like as the last note, I just had like one last question. If you could tell us maybe one of your biggest success, and finish on like one of like one of your highs with your co-founder, where you're like, oh my God, this we are getting there, or like we're feeling closer to the goal. Like, can you tell us one of those moments?
Okay, I mean, like we are actually feeling that at the moment because fundraising was a very big challenge for us because yeah, I mean, we're in Ethiopia. So like just being in Ethiopia and then COVID, the
Yeah.
politics through. So let me share you one story. What happened? In fact, I think that that is from the fundraising part. That is the biggest thing that I'm proud of, and also very happy and excited. So we managed to fundraise from Seed Start during COVID, which was also a big success. Imagine, like, we've never met our investors. We
That's
just
insane.
yeah, that's very insane. Like being able for them to trust us and believe in our passion and invest in our company as it is a big milestone for us. And then what happened was in the middle, so we raised the enough amount, but then the paperwork took very long. So through this process,
Mm.
what happened was Ethiopia was unstable. So, there was a high risk for us or for our investors to invest in the country. So, the thing is, we were not able to secure or to keep our investors to invest. Some of our investors, not all investors, but some of the investors um, that promised to invest gone just because of
Oh,
COVID and the instability in Ethiopia, and it was not easy to raise. So that's even how I met you. Actually, that's how we met with you. That's one of the stories. So I just simply decided I'm gonna go aggressive. I'm gonna,
mm.
like contact anybody who have the name of investor, literally, whether I know them or not, it doesn't matter. So I decided to do that. And then I started sending out emails, sending connections on LinkedIn, sending teasers, the one I shared with you as well. Like I did that for like 200 people or more, I can say, literally. So after I did that, surprisingly, our world really have changed. Like things are changing, literally. A lot of people responded. I did not expect that. Like at least if they don't even invest, at least they would reply saying, "Hey, we're interested in your business. We would like to hear more, but we're not investing now." So like
Okay.
I learned from that process because people were very disciplined, like literally disciplined. This is a discipline. Like, I ignore some of my LinkedIn message. So I was so surprised when people actually replied to my LinkedIn message. So from that, we were able to fundraise and to get one of our investors from LinkedIn, literally from LinkedIn, no other platform. And of course, we met you just from LinkedIn, and you're
Yes.
here supporting us, believing our story. So that was like that happened in 2 weeks, literally. So I managed to secure some part of our fund from LinkedIn in like literally 2 weeks. So I was so worried.
Wow.
The challenge was, so there's a policy in Ethiopia that says, so if a foreign investor is investing in Ethiopia, they need to at least contribute minimum 150,000 US dollar. So we did not have that much amount of money, which means we could have lost all the investment. So I was really worried. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna go aggressive. We're gonna, contact everybody we know and we don't know. So I just started sending out emails, contacting, sending out teasers, and yeah, we managed to secure our fund. And now the most emotional meeting we had with our investors was, I think, last Friday. Beatty was there too. So we gathered everybody. There were even investors that we haven't met that came from our other investors. So imagine the trust there is in this whole scenario. So for them to be able to trust us and to commit to Zafree to take us to the next level was a very emotional moment for Zafree. And like we gathered everybody, we even took pictures online, and it was a very emotional moment for us. So if one thing I learned from all of this is like, if you focus and if you believe you can do it, you can do it. Like literally, it can happen. Definitely. So yeah, that's one of I can say most exciting part and what keeps us awake every night, literally. So when we know we have all these people committed to Zafree, we just don't sleep. We're working 24/7.
That's amazing. And I can definitely testify that you work 24/7, like after like working with you for some time now. And yeah, like that's very inspiring, definitely, that in 2 weeks you managed to raise on LinkedIn. Maybe like as we close and to talk more about the crowdfunding campaign, like can you tell us why is it important for you now to crowdfund and not to go through a donation this time and not through a pure commercial investment? I'm trying to always explain like around that's what we do at Melanin Capital, is trying to mix also philanthropic or public funding with private funding, because in Europe, we are used to have like a lot of subsidies from the government to support startups when they start, because they know that some ideas needs actually to have support from the start capital that is more patient or more flexible, so that they can grow and then become profitable. But it's not always clear for people why for-profit companies are fundraising. Can you maybe tell all of us like why this is that important for Zafree in particular?
Okay, that's a really good question, because I also received like a personalized questions through my personal message from different investors. So I think it's pretty much good to explain the entire process. Um, so yeah, I've mentioned that we've raised funding from investors through equity, but the startup world works in a different way. It's not like a normal business. So as a startup, this is not going to be our first fundraising. So yes, we've managed to secure a few funds, but we also want to scale very fast as a startup, because that's how the startup world works. So as we scale and increase our valuation, we're going to be fundraising for second, third round with investors, in which we don't want to lose more equity as founders. So the reason why we still receive like number of emails from investors even after we started the crowdfunding. I am receiving like different requests for equity investment, but at the moment we can't be giving more equity, because we want to be in power as the founders, because we want to take this company to the next level, not just as a business, but we want to actually disrupt the paper industry, which means we need more money that is going to come in a higher valuation in the very near future. So to get there, we need funding. This business, especially manufacturing business, is a very tricky business. So like once you have everything set up, it's just going to be like manufacturing. So for manufacturing, you need money. You need a large amount of money. A lot of orders come, but then if you don't have the product, there's no point in having the factory. So making sure that you have enough stock of raw material, you have enough stock of product to deliver to your customers that are already in line waiting to buy our products, is very important. So that is why we decided to do the crowdfunding, even when we had enough money to set up our factory. We have enough money, but moving forward, we're going to need more money, and we don't want to be stuck just because of money. So this was one of our ways of accelerating our business technically. So it's actually very much popular in most developed countries like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. They do it for business, for profits. The only difference of ours is it's on GoFundMe, but still we have perks we're providing. So technically, we're also not just taking money from people, but we want to say thank you for our backers, which will also be a great way to expose our products to any potential customer, and to anyone who wants to understand or who wants to actually see a tree-free paper, and know that, oh, it's possible, and then change their mindset to only using a tree-free paper. So we're providing different perks like customized notebook that they can be using, that we can customize it with their name or any personal thing they have. And it will be made with a Zafree paper. So that is being at the moment like it's in stock for people to actually take it and also back us up. So we're doing that, and also we want to be able to give people experience of Zafree. So we want people to understand how we do things. So we are planning we have a travel package that is going to give them full experience of Zafree and also Ethiopia as well. So they'll be able to get a full experience of Ethiopia and also a tour to our factory, some event with our farmers. So it's going to be a very exciting 5 day stay. So the maximum stay is 5 days, 3 days to 5 days. We have three different packages. So whichever package they afford or they want to buy or interested, we're very much happy to assist them. And if they are not able to travel to Ethiopia, we also have a virtual tour to our factory. So once they donate, they will also be able to take a virtual tour to our factory, which will also give them almost the same experience to traveling to Ethiopia, I can say. So yeah, we're providing different interesting packages. Like we will share a link on our social media links and also maybe on the chat room on our YouTube on the live session on by the side of the what do you call it, the chat room.
Yes.
Yeah, we will do that. So people can go to our perks and donate and then claim their exciting perks. We have limited perks, so they better, go ahead
Yeah.
and claim their perks. So yeah, like we are also providing these perks. So yeah, this is why we're doing our crowdfunding, and we hope people will definitely support our cause.
Amazing, amazing. Really waiting forward to taking the perks where we can go to Ethiopia and see very well, like all the amazing activities you're doing. And I see that Betty Fikre managed to join us again. For the last words, like, do you have anything, Betty, to say about the crowdfunding campaign in one sentence? I would say just before we close.
Yeah, Betty Betty didn't actually say almost everything, but uh, maybe for those of you who are watching right now, uh, but I want you just to take a moment and uh, see, visit our website, our social media pages, and also go to the GoFundMe link and uh, donate, and also share, spread the word with your friends, family, and anyone you think might be interested. So stand with us. That's what can I say.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Betty. And Betty D, last words as the CEO of Zafree, and just a one sentence that you want to share with your donors. I know that we've talked for almost an hour now, so it's just kind of the mot de la fin, as we say in French.
My last word. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Please donate. Please donate and enjoy your perks. Like we want to make sure you get the best experience. So please go ahead, support us, and by supporting Zachary, you're not just supporting the founders or the partners, but a bigger community of small farmers, a bigger cause. You'll be saving a lot of trees by doing this. So, like, and you know how the climate change is a very big issue. In fact, I have to say it's a bigger issue than COVID, and people need to be very much aware of that. So it's a very big issue in the entire world, and we're hearing a lot of news currently regarding climate issues. So you just play your part, because there's a generation to come, and we need to keep, a good environment for the next generation to come. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Betty and Betty. This was such an inspiring session. We learned so much about your journey, your passion, and the importance of your fight against deforestation and against the impact that us as humans we have on our dear planet just by consuming more paper. So thanks to you and your innovation, we hope that we'll manage to solve all most of those issues, at least in the paper industry. And of course, for everyone who is listening, go see the GoFundMe campaign, support this cause, and we'll be available at any times if you have any questions, if you want to ask more to Bethlehem and Betty, and learn more about how you can be part of this movement of change. So thank you very much again, and wishing you all a great afternoon, evening, or morning.